Hey everyone, you're listening to Got It, and this episode is brought to you by
Clico Watches.
Visit www, or as Patrick says, www.clico.com, and on checkout, use Got It Pod to get $2,500 off.
It's 25%, Mario.
Oh, 25%, my bad. When do you think people will watch this podcast, in the morning or night?
Every single moment of the day.
Every single moment. So they'll just have it on repeat?
I think so. We should say good morning, good afternoon, and good night, because there's people.
What
from
movie
all
was
over
that?
the
That
world.
was remember the Truman Show? That was his big thing
That
on
was
the
his big
Truman
thing.
Show.
You're
Good
right.
morning, good
You're
evening,
right.
good night. Well, welcome everyone to our first podcast, because the first one was like a little trial run.
Just a little teaser.
And you're so far away from your mic, dude. Are you in the same room right now with your microphone?
Absolutely. Can you?
Oh,
hear me
there.
well?
So do that.
Okay.
Like a second
nice.
ago, you were like over somewhere else. So, how are you doing today, my friend? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I just came back from the gym, so I'm doing good.
Nice,
I feel
nice.
good. How about you?
We had to do this today because in 7 short days from today, you are departing.
That's
right?
correct.
You're
You
going
still haven't guessed
somewhere.
where I'm going, right?
You're going to Florida, probably.
No.
No.
Remember, I got euros. Remember?
You have euros?
I have
What?
euros. Yeah.
You're going that far?
I got euros, my friend.
Holy crap. Let's play. I got to guess. Oh, so let me get close. If I get close, you have to tell me that I'm getting close to where I can't believe you're going that far. So it's probably Europe, or a nation that takes euros, unless you're just a really cruel person that you're trying to bring euro somewhere where the value of the dollar is, or the value of the euro is better than their currency.
Which would be very smart.
Which would be really smart.
But it's not that.
How long are you going away for?
10 days.
10 days?
10 days, yes, sir.
Dude, what is TikTok going to do when you're gone for 10 days?
Honestly, I've got a bunch of recorded stuff, so
Nice.
I'm still going to be. But hey, speaking of which, did you hear TikTok has officially announced that they're closing on the 19th?
No.
They announced that this morning.
They did not.
They did.
Today is January 10th.
Exactly. And they
So we have
said
9 days of TikTok?
we've got 9 days left of. But listen, what I heard was that somebody's going to buy it, or they're just going to close it temporarily, because I think Donald Trump is going to come back and reinstate it. That's what I think.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always Instagram. You can do lives on Instagram. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
I'm going to 35 now, 35,000.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But I mean, almost 400,000 on TikTok. So
wow.
I hope it doesn't close.
And pretty soon you'll be an American too. Once they buy Canada, I mean, the 51st state will be Canada.
Crazy how Canadians would like that, but not the people who manage Canada. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because the people that manage Canada, you know what? We're not going down that road.
No, we're not going.
We're not going down the politics road at all.
No.
But what we are here for is to talk to people about do you hear the Canadian in me when I say about, by the way? You wouldn't. You don't, because you're Canadian.
I don't hear it because it's the same.
No, most Americans, when I say about, they're like, huh, about. I'm like, what? It's about. But
what do you mean?
Boot.
That's how you
I don't say a boot.
No.
I'm not saying it like weirdly. But yeah, we're here because we love being able to talk to people these days. I've learned that in the last couple of years, I didn't understand why I was oversharing so much. And I think it was a trauma response where I was like in pain and I felt alone and I was just sharing too much. But I also have ADHD that I was just recently diagnosed, if you didn't know that already with me, Pat.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. So, we're here because we want to take people on a journey with us on our healing journey.
Correct.
Would you call that a journey? It's like a journey.
It's a mission. It's a journey. Yeah, absolutely. It's an adventure. We can call it so many things. It's a long process.
But we're not experts.
We're not experts. No, we're not.
We're far from experts. But like how we started dating. How old were you when you started dating?
Like 16 or 17, maybe.
Really? 16.
I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna count the first girl, because I was like maybe 14 or 15. It was like, you don't even know what love is, at that age.
Right.
So.
How long did that relationship last?
Like 2 months.
Oh, okay, 2 months.
Yeah. I'm not gonna count that one. No.
Okay. What about the second one? I watched a video from this guy said You have three loves. Remember that guy?
Yeah, Patrick isn't Patrick got it on
Patrick
TikTok?
Goody.
Yeah,
It's a good
oh,
day.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the one.
But, so, like, what was your first relationship that you can look back? Like, what was your first real, like, damn, I'm in a relationship with this girl? Like, how old were you then? Like, not 14, obviously, but like probably shortly thereafter, right?
Yeah, no, it was high school. High school. I was 16, 17, probably. I'd call that my first relationship.
Okay. And how long was that one?
2 years.
Damn. 2 years?
2 years. Yeah, man. Yeah. You look surprised.
Yeah. Dude, 2 years in high school
Yeah, we just graduated. We graduated, and then we went on to college,
together?
and yeah, went to the same college,
Damn.
and we're 2 years together. Yeah.
That's amazing from high school. I never had that. Well, here's the thing
What
with
about you?
no, I was the fat kid. I was the fat kid in school. I had self-esteem issues, but I always had girls around me because I was like in the friend zone. I was the guy that would take them to parties and hang out, drive around. I was always in the friend zone. And I had self-esteem issues back then. And I growing up in an Italian household, I don't know, it was just like I don't know. It was really weird for me. I had a girlfriend when I was younger. I think it lasted maybe 6, 8 weeks, if that. And then she cheated on me with one of my friends, and then that did wonders for my self esteem, obviously. And
No way.
I didn't date for a long time. It was just really weird. I had like little relationships here and there, but nothing really 2 years in high school. Like that's incredible. And what happened? Like what happened to you guys?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know what to call it. She was Greek. She was Greek. I'm not, as you can tell. And her father just didn't accept me because I wasn't Greek. And so, unfortunately, we kind of knew that there was no future. And so things just unfortunately slowly started dying, and we ended up just taking our own paths.
You should
And
you should have offered her dad Windex if you would have
you're
if
saying
the yeah,
from the
remember the
movie, right?
movies, you know, the
My big fat Greek
My
wedding.
Big Fat Greek Wedding. Just if you would have offered her dad Windex, you probably would have saved the relationship. Um
Maybe, maybe.
and so you guys broke apart. Do you know where she is nowadays or
Yeah, now she's got well she had a family,
nice.
and well she still has a family. She still has a
She had
family.
a family and she murdered her
No,
family. You
she's
dodged a bullet on that one.
no, she's going latest news, she's going through divorce
Oh,
with one child, and I think her parents split up too.
wow.
Her
The
parents split
Greek
up as well.
parents.
Yeah,
I didn't think
which
Greeks were allowed to divorce.
you know what?
That's
I think back in the day, maybe not, but it looks like today it's more accepted. But yeah, so the same father that didn't accept me because I was in Greek, finally I think he's over in Greece now. So
wow. So,
yeah,
okay, so you went from a 2-year relationship to, were you how about after that one? Let's go back to I wanna go back to the 2-year relationship. That's, because that's amazing to me. Um, so, like, when people see your videos these days, um, besides you giving them the old, you know, the sexy eye when you're looking at them on the camera,
the
because you're a
I fuck,
good-looking guy,
yeah.
uh, like, going back to when you started dating and you started, like, even before this 2-year relationship, like, who taught you to how to treat a woman or treat a girl back then? Like, how did you know how to treat these people when you took them on a date and stuff? Like,
That's an easy question. You have any other ones like that? It's really easy. My
damn,
parents, bro, my
so
parents.
cocky all of a sudden.
My parents have been together for a really long time. They're still together. They're still together today.
Really?
So it's really really amazing to see them after all that time. I mean, my dad, my dad and my mom, they've been communicating so well ever since they've known each other. And
Yeah,
so,
that's very unusual. I'm sorry to say these
well,
days,
in today's, yeah,
especially.
today's day and age, absolutely. But I grew up watching my parents, do what lovers do. My mom was usually, at home, and she'd rub my dad's hair when he was driving. My dad would bring her flowers, and all that goody good stuff that we don't see today.
Yeah.
That's what I
So
was seeing. So I just easy for me to just watch and learn, right?
my mom would make my dad bread.
Is that
That
right?
was her love language was making like you know, in my household, I'd never seen affection ever, ever, ever. Like if I go back, no shit, dude, I could never. you would never see my dad, like maybe on an anniversary, bring flowers or something, but there was never like talking like, like a couple would. I remember I was in high school, my friend Keith was over, and he's like, "Dude, should I go home?" I'm like, "Why? What's up?" He's like, "Well, your parents are fighting in the kitchen." I'm like, "My parents are fighting in the kitchen?" And I listen, and my mom and dad were talking about groceries. And
Really?
the Italian, very heated, like, "What do you mean there's no sugar?" But it wasn't like yelling. And I was just numb to all of this, right? Because this was just part of my life. And yeah, there was never any sort of like, this is how you deal with in a relationship, because the relationships, even when I would go to Italy with my parents, everyone was the same. No one, you would never see like my aunts and uncles canoodling, like, or anything like that. You maybe see them smile at one another, but it was always the men on one side of the house and the women were out in the kitchen doing cooking or whatever the case may be. And that's what I knew. So, I can't go back to my first relationship and say, okay, that's why it didn't last. But as I got older, I think that I didn't want that. I didn't want to treat another woman like that. Right. And so I kind of tried to figure things on my own, like what works and what doesn't work. Um, what I found out the hard way, now that I'm 50, even though I do not look 50,
Look, you're
what
32,
I
bro.
found out that is I had some mental health issues that were undiagnosed at a very young age, probably, that I was just trying to figure out life on my own, in my own way. And I think that's what caused me to self sabotage a lot of the relationships that I was in over the years, was undiagnosed mental health and how to deal with life in a proper format. So you and I are completely different because you had a manual. You had a manual going through life. It's like, oh, this is how my mom and dad are. This is how I'm going to be. Hence a 2-year relationship. Now, after the 2-year relationship, did you have any relationships like right after that one?
No, after that I started dating. But hold on a second. I just want to go back to what you just said though, because you said we both, I had a manual. This could actually be a good or bad thing, if you want my opinion. Because the problem with that is that today that's what I look for, and it's hard to find, right?
What do you mean it's hard to find?
Well, you don't find that today. Relationships like that last. I mean, you go out in the dating
Oh,
world today
yeah,
and you try
no.
to find the same thing. You try to find someone that will recreate what my parents have in today's world. It's almost
It's
impossible.
impossible.
It's
Yeah.
impossible. So it sucks when you're in the dating world because that's what you look for. When you have that manual, you're just looking for it,
Hmm.
right? And it's really hard to find. So after that one, yes, I went into the dating world for about 2 years.
Okay.
2 years, just working on myself. Going to the gym. I mean, it wasn't because I was heartbroken or anything. I was just, doing life. I was in CJEP at the time. My mom had cancer, so I was taking care of her as well. And that's it. That's what happened. So for 2 years after that, I dated, and then after that, I got into another relationship, which this one was 7 years.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
7 years?
My second relationship was 7 years. Yeah,
So if I'm doing my math right, you had a 2-year relationship. You're 19, and then
yeah.
you kind of dated for a couple of years. So that
Like
means you got into a
21,
relationship when you were 22, 21,
21,
22.
22. Yeah.
And did you get married in 7 years?
I got married 2 years after when I was 24.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got married when I was 24 with this 7 year relationship, and
Wow,
we got
very cool.
married. Unfortunately, that relationship ended up in divorce. But
Join the club. We have jackets.
hey, it's a 7 years, man. I've heard this thing that says the toughest relationships when you get past 7 years, apparently it's going to last.
Yeah, the
Apparently,
7-year itch.
yeah,
That's what they
apparently
call
it's
it, the
very
7-year itch.
difficult to pass that. But once you do, you're already ahead of a lot of people. Apparently,
Wow. And for me, I have had two marriages now that ended up in divorce, and with me, it was two clear manic episodes in my life that destroyed both marriages. I would say. Um, I'm going back, through this podcast. I think you're going to hear a lot of that. And I like this about you and I, Pat, because it's polar opposites, but at the end of the day, we're both looking for the same thing, which I think
absolutely.
is what's really, really cool. It's like oil and vinegar, and at the end, it's like, they mix pretty good. Everything works pretty good with this one. So
Yeah,
I look back at that as like, um, it was mental health that again, going back to the manual, as we talked about earlier, I didn't have a manual. And you're saying that yours may be a curse because you're looking for that. I, on the other hand, I had no clue what the hell I was looking for. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't know what. I was figuring out as I go. So what I did is I depended on my partner to give me a playbook, right? But if it didn't work well with me, I would either make like resent them for it, or you can't tell me what to do, da 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 da, like where most men do, instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and say, "Hey, maybe you have a fucking problem, and you should be looking at yourself in this situation." But it was easier for me to do the thing my dad did was, raise my voice or blame someone else, but it was my mental health that was blocking me all these years. And I think that's why we're here talking on a podcast, because we need to help people through the mistakes that we've made. There's a lot of people, and let's be honest, a lot of your viewers and followers are women, right?
Yeah.
And do you
90,
ever hear on your
90%.
lives that you do that every woman has it completely figured out and all their men are doing great? Ever?
No, not at all. But I was actually going to ask you that question. What do you think the percentage is of men that have had an example of the manual or not?
Um,
I don't actually have these statistics, but like, what do you think? What would you say it is?
well, for me, I know that I've done some homework on this situation because when I started my journey into understanding how I treated my spouse for 15 almost years, and I had to look into like how many men actually put in the hard work to actually
Right.
do something and to make a change and look at the mirror and say, I need to fix me because she's worth every second of me fixing me. And that number is actually 7%, Pat. 7% of men will actually do the work to maintain or put the hard work into trying to save either a marriage or a relationship. And it's a sad number if you look at it, because most men will be like, fuck you, I'm going to go find someone new because they're not going to give me all the bullshit that you give me. So I'm going to go find someone new. And that new person will tell me everything I need to hear and everything I need to believe in order to get through this relationship. And guess what? 10 years later, you're going to be back in that same spot because you have never done the work to fix yourself.
Yeah,
And
so 93%. That means
yeah,
93% of people aren't willing to do it. And I
exactly.
think, I've always thought that. I always think that it takes one person to make you change. You could be in a lot of relationships, right? You can jump from one relationship to another and never, never, ever change. But I think it takes one person that you realize that you just cannot lose. That's the person that's going to make you change, you
Yeah.
know?
And did you have any of those in your life?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, look, I've been on this, we call it a healing journey. I've been on this healing journey for, I want to say almost 2 years and a half now. 2 years and a half where I was looking back at all my previous relationships, which were all long, right? We said, 2 years, 7 years, then it was another two, and then another seven.
Right.
Those were my four serious relationships. So, I mean, two for 7 years, and then another 4 years in there. So when you calculate it, 16 years of relationships, I'm 37 years old. I had to look back at some point and say, what am I doing wrong? Like, there's
Mhm.
obviously something I'm doing wrong. And that's when I decided to work on myself. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Mary, I didn't even know what love languages was up until I was 35. I didn't even know what attachment styles was. I don't
Dude,
know
I'm
for you.
50, I just found out.
You
I just
see?
found out 2 years ago,
So
you know?
now I think now that you know what they are, we can agree that every man and every woman even should know what those are because
So,
there's so much studies behind it and it's true. It works.
so when you say attachment styles, I know I'm an anxious attachment, and I don't think most people don't understand attachment styles. Like love language, we can break that down,
Yeah.
but attachment styles are a big deal because even my therapist, I was telling him that, I miss my spouse when she's not with me. And he quickly goes to like, well, that's an anxious attachment. And I'm like, well, no, sometimes I just miss her. Like she's not around me. But
Yeah.
there's a difference between missing someone and what I didn't realize that missing someone and anxious attachment can live with one another. Like that's
Right.
it, but it's how you interact with that. How would you consider yourself? Like if I'm an anxious attachment, how would you consider yourself?
I mean, look, a lot of people will not understand this, but I want to say that I'm anxious too. The difference is now I'm leaning more towards secure. But if I go back to when I started, I'm hands down 1000% anxious attachment.
The
And
promised
now
land.
if I look back, like I'm realizing that with all the work that I've put in, I'm leaning more towards secure right now, which
Hmm.
is what the work I wanted to put in. That's where I wanted to get to. because
Well,
anxious attachment is no joke, man. It's not fun.
no, it's terrible. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. And I mean, your parents were secure, obviously, because you're looking at, again, a product of your environment. Like you said, your parents were probably secure. No?
Well, I agree to disagree on that because it's not because a couple has been together for a very long time that it means that they're secure. They still both have their different attachment styles and different love languages. It's just that they've found a way to coexist with them, without actually changing. Because, if I were to talk to these things about, to my parents, they don't even know what they are today.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
back in the day, we didn't know this. There's a lot of studies that have been put into this, but they just found back in the day they would find ways to coexist and adapt to each other, which is the difference with today. Today, people don't do that. Today, it's if you don't match my style, if you don't match my vibe, you're gone. You're out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it difficult. Where you come into a relationship knowing this stuff now and you explain that to someone, if they haven't done the work, you will see it very quickly,
Hmm.
very, very quickly.
And see, with me, I grew up with a mother that had severe anxiety. Definitely, she had anxious attachment, like big time, like big time. Because everything in her life was dependent on my dad. Like
Right.
whatever my dad, like we eat when he gets home, we cook whatever he wants. Like everything was based on whatever my dad needed in life, and was never about her. So you grow up with that. I'm going into these relationships to being like, okay, well, I need to have a relationship or else I can't live. I need to be with someone or else I can't live. Right. In the last 2 years of my life, I've learned that it's okay to be alone sometimes and to love someone and to be in a relationship with someone and give them their own sense of autonomy to be themselves. And you don't have to be that one. You always say you're now a man and wife, right? You get married. Now we're one. Why is it one?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be one? Why can't they be an individual?
It
And
shouldn't be one. Yeah.
right, but growing up, it was always one for me, you know? Even marriage in itself was like, okay, once you're done dating and you get married, then it's done because now you're one, right? That's the way that's all I knew.
Right.
And it's, you look at it, it's like it has to be that balance. And if there's no balance, no matter what, you're never, I mean, you'll be married for 50 years, but you won't be happy unless you're your parents. And it seems like your parents are your parents still happily married?
They're super happily married. They're in Florida right now. They're enjoying life. And you know what's crazy? I don't think I picked up the attachment style from, it's probably my mom. I would say my mom is probably the more anxious one. But I grew up with so much love. You know what I mean? Like it was just so much love that I think that's where I got it from. It was like, it became like this need for me, you know? And it wasn't that I wasn't getting love. It wasn't that I didn't think I was worthy enough. It was
Right.
the opposite. I just felt like I had so much love to give, and always, try to be the best version of myself. And that's where I got the anxious attachment style. And because all the relationships I've had in the past, they never made me feel like that. And so I was
Mhm.
always chasing that.
Were you
And I
always
think
chasing something? Because so let's go back to your relationship. Um, do you always think that you were like wanting more out of it, or like, I mean, why didn't that one last? Why didn't it last? Like, what was the thing that was something in that relationship unhappy? Like, made you unhappy? Like, what? How did it end up ending after 2 years? Like, what were you looking for? You just said you were
is
looking for
this the,
something.
the first one? Like the
Yeah, the
first
first
person, my
one.
first love? Well, it ended because of the father. The father who
Oh,
didn't accept me. It wasn't really our choice. Like honestly, I think we probably would have lasted much longer if it wasn't for the
okay.
whole culture thing.
Okay,
So
so
like,
let's go to let's the second one then.
yeah, the marriage.
The marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened there?
Listen, I mean, the beginning was amazing. It was fireworks. I remember talking to my cousin about this. I was like, "Look, this is the woman. This is it." It was fireworks. It was so intense in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then after I want to say 2-3 years, it just started dying down. And then we got married, and then I think it was just chasing like the next steps of a relationship. Oh, let's get a house, and then you're all
Sure.
like pumped up. You're all
Let's have
pumped up. You're
kids.
like, oh, this is exciting. Let's get a house. You get the house, and then you get the house, and you're like, fuck, shit, I'm not happy. I'm still not happy.
Mhm.
Let's go on vacation.
Yep.
You go on vacation. You're all excited. No, no, no. You go on vacation. You come back. You're like, that didn't do it.
Yep.
And it just started dying down, and it was like we were just living as in French it's des colocs, roommates. Roommates. It's like we were living
Sure,
as
sure, sure.
roommates. And then one year, it's my birthday. My birthday's coming up. I'm like, hey, let's go out. You know, I'm 20, maybe 24, 25, 26, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact. But I'm like, let's go out. Let's go have some fun. And she's like, no, you know, I'm tired. Don't want to go out. I'm like, bro, it's my birthday. Like,
Yeah.
let's do something. And then she didn't want to go. So I ended up going out. I ended up going out with my friends and my family. And then when I came back, it was 5 in the morning. She was sitting on the couch. I'm gonna remember this forever. She was sitting on the couch at home, and with my gift, with my birthday gift in her hands on her lap. And I just said, I said, look, we got to talk. And she says, I agree. And that was it. We called it quits.
Wow.
Put the house up for sale, and
That was
parted
it.
ways. 6 months later, she was pregnant with another man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I thought you were
So
going to say yours.
no, 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 it wasn't mine. And that's the thing. I think she was older than me. She was 7 years older than I was. So she was at that point. Like she was at that point in her life where she wanted children, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there yet. I wasn't ready career wise. This is the thing with men, right? I think there's a lot of times like we're not ready for it, and for us to be ready, it's not. We don't have that clock. We don't have that
Mm-hmm.
timer, right?
Mm-hmm.
For us men, it's more a question of, do I have the right job? Am I making enough to support my family? Do I have the right position? Am I happy where I am? That's what we mean by when we're ready. And I wasn't there. I wasn't there at all. And her time was ticking. So she was really in a hurry to get a child, and I think that's why when we finally separated, it was very very fast for her to get a child, because that's what she was dreaming of, and I wasn't. I just wasn't the man for that. I wasn't it.
Wow. What kind of car
Yeah.
were you driving back then?
BMW. That's how we met. Actually, yeah, it
Damn.
was. I had a BMW back then,
Fucking
and
7-year relationships driving
it was
BMWs.
because of the BMW. Actually, we
Really?
I basically went to BMW. It was for I was going for I had to take an appointment for an oil change, and she was the receptionist, and
Nice.
it just clicked. It just clicked, and then her colleague said, "You guys look really cute together. Why don't you go on a date?" And I was like, "Well, hey, you want to go on a date?" And then that's how it started.
What year
Yeah,
BMW? What was it?
it was a 2005 325.
325. I had a
325.
525. I had a
Five.
525 for several years, but
Nice.
when I was dating, I had a shitty pickup truck. I had like a Chevy pickup, and then I had my mom's Chevy Cavalier station
Nice.
wagon, 5 speed. That thing was like a race car for me. I destroyed that thing so bad. Um,
And the cars we had back then, huh? But
oh
what
my
about you,
god, my
Mario? Though, hold up, hold on. I want to know about you. We're talking about me. What about you? What about your relationship? So you got out of that one where you called him a friend. I guess you guys aren't friends anymore, right?
no, my first.
Yeah.
Oh god, no. So that's she's the mother of she's the biological mother to my children,
Is that
and
right?
yeah, that's gone. That was done. But when I look back at it, it's I really go back to I'm always you're gonna hear me a lot on this show go to mental health because the reason why I go to mental health when we talk about relationships is I know the current relationship that I'm in with my spouse. Um, it's a different kind of love when you know how to love yourself. I did not know how to love myself for so many years. I pretended I liked what I was doing in life. I was never happy. That was my issue. I
Right.
was never happy with me, whether it be my appearance, whether it be my self-esteem, whether it be anything. I was never happy. I didn't have enough money. I had to have the better car. I had to have da 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 da. Fill in the blank. I had to have it better. And nowadays, because I've taken care of my mental health and I've been to the bottom of the barrel, you met me when I had a 6 months residency at the bottom of the barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was done. I did not want to be here anymore. And prior to the bottom of the barrel, when I was heading down, is when I was trying to find a way out. Um, my mental health was at a point where I knew something was wrong with me. I wasn't willing to get the help. And the easy way out was for me to not to be here anymore. That's what I wanted. And I did things that I can't even remember because I look back at the 2 years prior, like the 3 years ago. There's a lot of that has been redacted from my brain because I was in full self destruction mode.
Right.
I had no clue what was up or down anymore. And the fact that we're here talking about relationships, because I thought that the best thing that ever happened to me in my life was gone forever. And the second I started taking care of me is when it changed. You go to any of our social, not our social media, but you go to our YouTube page and you look at right underneath the picture of me and Pat, and it says the great paradox is the moment you know yourself, then you change. And that's what happened. I thought I knew who Mario was. All these years I thought I knew who I was. And that's when I changed. And so I think I had to let go of the status quo of what I thought was me. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't like who I saw. I didn't want to be that person anymore. So I decided to get on the 7% train and make a difference and fight really hard for my best friend and the love of my life. And I fought really hard. But I didn't fight by buying flowers and by buying and saying empty promises. I turned the finger and I pointed it to me and said, if I don't change me first, I'm going to be back here again in 10 years, if I even make it another 10 years.
Got it.
So it's, as much as we talk about relationships on this show, it's a life journey that we're on. I can't give you any sort of magic words on how to maintain a relationship when you have ADHD or you're having a manic episode. I can give you some suggestions. One thing that I know that I can give you suggestions on is being a dad of a son with autism. I have a 22-year-old with autism that most people know. His name is Dante. He's on all the
Hmm.
social media, so I can use his real name. Um, but a lot of these families that end up in divorce is because of the stress. My spouse and I went through hell on earth during COVID.
Yeah.
Dante went backwards and his behavior got out of control and it really tested our relationship, but we were able to get through it. I don't know how, but most families will be like, we're done. We have to move on. So for me, in the series of this podcast, it's really about talking to a variety of different people that, like yourself, great parents, happy 7-year relationships, 2-year relationships in high school, like that's not what you're going to get from me. I'm the other side of the coin. And that's why it's really amazing how we come together and bring people on this podcast to be able to share their experiences. So people that listen can say, well, yeah, my parents were like that. Or yes, I had a spouse like that. So I think that's where I'm at in this journey, on this self-discovery journey.
But don't you think we're going to talk about relationships on this pod. We have to let people know what we're going to talk about, obviously, so they know in the future what they're going to be listening to. But don't you agree that you can't really have a good relationship if your mental health isn't in check?
No, yeah.
You know what I
Ask me
mean?
3 years ago, I would say, no, you're full of shit.
Yeah,
It's not my fault. It's,
exactly.
people you have to get to know me first and then you'll be happy. That's
But
what I
the
would have told you 5 years ago,
but the thing is, everybody's got their own battles, right? So
Mhm.
everybody's got their own battles, and that's the beauty of unpacking together. Is showing that vulnerability to be able to have that intimacy together and to learn about each other. Which again, I'm going to say this again, it doesn't happen today. People don't do that. The
Mhm.
moment you're not on the same vibe, you're not on that same wavelength, it's too much. It's too hard. I'm going to find easier,
Mhm.
you know?
I, my spouse would come to me with issues in the past, Pat, and she'd be like, "Hey, we need to talk about this." And I would run away from any hard conversations. And you mentioned a word right now, the V word, the vulnerability word.
Yes, sir.
Most men don't want to feel vulnerable. They want to beat their chest, grab their club, go fight a fucking lion, bring it home for dinner. You
Yep.
know, we're we're the hunters. We're the gatherers.
Yeah.
No one, we're not taught in how to deal with these kind of situations. Now, some men are, some families are able to help you through that, but I would say a very large majority of men, they're not taught that it's okay to be vulnerable. They're not taught it's okay to cry.
Nope.
They're not taught it's okay to feel, and let's talk feelings or even just feelings in general. They're not taught how to deal with these things. And I wasn't. And my mental health suffered tremendously. I burned so many bridges. I had friends that I lost over the years, or I cut them out because they were trying to tell me something different. It's like, well, that
Right.
doesn't fit with my current agenda. So I'm going to
Hmm.
do something else. And I think you have to hit. Everyone says, "Oh, when you're at the bottom, there's only one way up." Yeah, you can say that, but what fucking ladder are you taking up? Are you taking the
Exactly.
ladder that you're building for yourself? Or are you going to reach out and say, hey, I need a new ladder,
Yeah.
therapist. I need a new ladder, friend. I need a
Yeah.
new ladder. I need someone to help me get on the right ladder. Because if you build the ladder yourself and you're making all your little runs yourself, you're going to end up at the top, but it's going to be your top where you started in the first place. And then once you get to the top, you're just going to fall right back down again and you're going to start over. And 2 years ago, I fell. And if you would ask me a year ago, actually, it's funny. I used to watch Pat's videos and I would see this guy. It's like, are you in love? Do you love blah, blah, blah? And I would fucking hate, I'm like, screw you, dude. You don't know anything I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
And then there would be some videos that Pat would put out and I'd be like, damn, this guy is like fucking Guru Pitka. Like he is the man right now. Um,
Yeah.
but it's really hard to let go and listen when you think you know it all. And that's mental health.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with love. That's just mental health. That's self reflection. And most men hate self reflection. I read the comments on your lives, dude, and not all of them because there's way too many of them. And it's funny if anyone's never been to a live, if TikTok ever comes back, and or if you catch a live on YouTube or if you
Or
catch a live on
Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram, um, Pat will read every comment. And it's so frustrating. You see people, they write something, he'll like scroll and read every comment. He has the utmost respect for all his followers. And it's so amazing to me because I watch that and my ADHD mind, I'm like, check, I'm done. I can't deal with this. Even though I want to, I can't, right? And
Yeah.
he sits there and he reads all these comments and even the trolls, like he'll address the trolls. I open up his live ones. He's like, well, fuck these guys, blah, 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 and fuck this, fuck that. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just walk into? Pat was all heated up by, what was it? It was like the African people trying to get your attention,
No,
wasn't it?
it's 'cause what happened is at some point, I don't know what happened. My lives became like a dating show. People were coming onto my lives and just trying to meet the love of their life in the comments. You know what I mean? So it was just bad, and it was just trending for some reason. It was just trending, and I was just so sick and tired of it. People were just coming in. It was like, hey, I'm this person. I'm 22 from Kenya. Find my,
Oh, Kenya. That was it. The
it
Kenya.
was
Yeah.
Kenya and Ghana and all that. And I was like, what do you guys want me to do? I can't help you here.
It's
You
so
know?
funny. So, um, Pat went, there was a follower of his, and I think you could mention her name when you went to Florida, right? Because she's been all
Yeah.
over your
Yeah. Yeah.
socials. So
Everybody knows her. It's Coop.
everyone
Yeah.
knows Coop. And
Well, it's her, um,
her
it's not a real
handle.
name.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's her
And
handle. Yeah.
but when you went down and visited with her and whatnot, like it's amazing with that what social media does. Social media, like there's always the people you see and you laugh and you follow them or whatever not. And then there's people that you can become friends with for real.
Yep.
Um, and when he went down to visit Coop, they got tattooed together. It's just like if you watch those videos and you see the smiles and he's there dancing with her granddaughter and stuff like that, it's just like I look at myself at times and I say, "Damn, that dude's my friend." Like
Yeah.
I get so warm when I just say, "I know that guy for real." Like you guys all may know think you know Pat because I fucks you on camera from time to time, but
Yeah. It happens.
it happens. But one thing I will tell you is the real person. Do you hear the dogs in the background?
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Um,
We're
the,
not in studio, but everyone, I hope you
yeah,
know,
we're
we're
not in the
not in
studio right
studio.
now.
It's, yeah, we're recording
Um,
from home. This one.
I'm waiting at any moment for this door to like open up and
Just
Dante to
smash
come in. He's
open.
like, "Daddy, what's up?" You know.
That'd be
Um,
sweet though.
but the person you see online that's talking to you is the person that is my friend Pat. And that's
Yeah.
like the coolest part. It's not like he puts I've dealt with a lot of influencers. I've dealt with a lot of people in my career. Um, I've dealt with some people that are like incredible, incredible human beings. Like JT Laybourne and his wife Brooklyn. They're like just like they're 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 saints. They're amazing human beings, right? But that also meant some other people, or Polly, she's funnier than hell. But I met some amazing people in my life that I thought were amazing on TikTok or whatever the case may be, and then you meet them in person. It's like, ooh, gross. This is not who
That's
you
not how we
are,
know you.
right?
Yeah.
It's just like like Pat's real voice is very high, and he's pretending right now like that's not his real
It gets
voice.
tough, man. I mean,
It's tough. I don't know how you do it. You know,
all day long to speak
the
like this,
vice on
it's
your nuts
tough.
right now
Yeah.
are weird that you have to use those for this voice, but no.
You know what? It's funny you say that though, because when you say that, this is my friend Pat and Coop, who I've went to Florida to get the same tattoo with, and all these, amazing stories. You guys, you met me when I was starting, and I think that's a big thing too. You met me when I could answer everyone. I can't do that today, and I miss that. I miss being able to have that closeness with my followers. Now I can't do it because people just like they take it for granted and they think they have access to me in a way that they don't really have. But when you say that you're happy to have me as a friend, dude, like I hope this is like it just comes back to you, right? It goes both ways, man.
Well,
I
it's
saw
power of
you.
attraction.
Yeah, but
Power of
you know what I
attraction.
mean? Like when I first talked to you, it was on the phone. I remember our first phone call. I was outside. I was talking to you outside for about like, I think our first phone call was like an hour. This is two people that don't
Yeah.
even know each other. We didn't even know each other back then. It was
Mhm.
our first phone call was like an hour. And I remember the discussion we were having, and we were talking about our anxious attachment style and what we were going through in our relationships back in the day. And we were just so alike, right? And I look forward to today. I move forward to today, and dude, you've made so much progress. It's insane. And I am so proud to call you a friend of mine too, because of that, because of the effort you've put into yourself, the effort you put into your relationship. I'm surrounding myself with people who think likewise, right?
Mhm.
And there's a quote that I heard that said, "Tell me who your five friends are. I'll tell you what your future looks like."
Yeah.
If you're surrounding yourself with people who think the same, who are putting the effort as much as you are, you're going to go far. But that's the thing is, I think people they like comfort so much that they stay in these situations because they're comfortable and they never change, they never upgrade, they never get
Mhm.
better. And I just want to take this moment to tell you that, dude, you did it, and I'm so proud of you, so proud of this podcast, and I'm so excited to see where it's going to take us. But so far, so good, man. I love it.
Thanks, brother. I love you, man. That's such nice words, and it's funny. I hear you say it, and I'm like, wow, that's really nice for him to say. I need to get to a point in my life that I
Where you believe
believe
it.
it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need I need to believe it like 100%. Like I believe you. Like I truly like I believe that you're not just bullshitting me right now, right? But I can't ingest it. And I'm
Yeah.
getting there. I'm slowly getting there. And it goes back to me mentioned earlier when you love someone, like loving yourself.
Hmm.
I think I'm starting to like me. I'm not quite at the love point yet. I'm
You're
starting to
not there,
like me.
but what if you talk about the progress? Like, what if you look back to where you were and where you're at now? You made progress, right?
Yeah, but it's not love, it's proud. Like I'm proud of the progress. Like I'm very proud of the progress because the people who mean the most to me can look at me in the eyes and say you're you're doing it. You're really doing it.
Mm.
And as much as I love hearing it from people when my spouse tells me I'm so proud of you, I'm done. Like I wish that would be the last words I could hear when I'm done on this earth for my spouse, the person I love more than anything, to say I'm proud of you. You did it. That's how I want to
Mm.
die. That's want to be the last words.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's deep.
that's deep. Um,
That's deep.
let's lighten it up a little
Yeah,
bit
man.
here now. Let's lighten up. Let's like, dang. Um, what is going on with you before this trip? Like, what do you got planned before this trip? Wait, we didn't even figure out where you're going yet.
Nope, you did. I see how I
Okay, you're going to
sidetracked you
use
there.
euros.
Yeah,
That's my ADHD. We
I
jumped
know.
all over the
I'm going to take
place.
advantage of it.
I know you're bastard. Uh, so it's somewhere where you need euros. You're going to France because you're French. That's my
Nope.
first guess. Am I
Um,
warm
you're
or
very,
cold?
very cold. You're
I'm
not even on the
very
right.
cold.
You're not on the right continent.
No shit.
Yes, sirree.
Euros.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? I need to do a Google search here
See,
quick.
this is the thing. Were you good in geography?
Yeah, I love geography.
Love geography? So I
Yeah.
mean, you should be good at this.
Euros.
Yeah.
European nation. So you're on a Commonwealth of Europe somewhere. Um okay. So let me ask you the next question.
Yeah.
Um what season is it right now where you're
S-
heading?
Major time summer.
It's summer right now.
Oh, it's
Okay.
hot.
So
It's hot.
it's summer? Is it the season summer or is it
Oh shit.
winter?
You know what? I don't even know that, but it's really hot
Dude,
right
were
now.
you good in geography?
No, I was not.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get to is it below the equator? That's what I'm
It's
asking you.
very, very close. Very
It's very
close to
close to the equator,
very
and
close to
it's
the
you're gonna
equator.
be using euros, very close
Correct.
to the equator. God,
Yes, sir.
shit. So it's not anywhere Europe. Oh my gosh. If you guys are listening to this, please put a comment on where you think this is right now,
Hey, I
because
was thinking
we can
about that.
see.
So people can comment on YouTube. They can.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I've seen they can comment on Spotify too, right?
Really?
I think so. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
I think they can comment on the show. I would think that they can comment on the show.
I
Um,
think so.
okay, so
So if you are listening, let's test it. Let's
yeah,
test this. Let's see what
tell me
let's see
where you
what
think.
people. Yeah, tell me where you guys think I'm going. I'm leaving next Friday, the 17th. Coming back on the 27th. I'm
Okay,
just getting ready for it, man.
what
That's what I'm
airline are
doing
you
now.
flying?
Air Canada.
Oh shit, that tells me nothing.
It tells you
Um,
nothing. That's our major.
I
It's our
know, I
major
know. You're
flight.
flying Air Canada. That tells us
Uh,
nothing.
yeah,
How
no.
long is the flight?
Oh, that's a great question.
Minus stops, like not including like if you have a layover somewhere.
That's a great question.
Do 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 do.
So from 9:30 to 2:25.
One, two, so five. Oh,
9:30
you're not
a.m.
going
to
that far.
2:25.
He's not going that far. He's going somewhere. Okay. Is it an island?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, baby. We're at an island now. Okay.
Getting close.
Um, God, I need to bring a map up. This is ridiculous now. I gotta look. I should just ask Google European islands. Hey Google, what islands are under the European Commonwealth? Okay, let's see. Oh, I know where you're going.
There's
It's
only
not.
one? What?
No, there's not one. There's not one. I think so. I'm looking. I'm thinking you. You're not going to the Virgin Islands. That's for sure because you're too old for virgins. Um,
Damn.
and that was yeah. I think you're going to Turks and Caicos. That's where I think you're going.
Nope. I've
Okay,
been there though. I've been there. Really
have
nice
you?
place.
Um, so maybe it was the Virgin Islands. Shit, what if it was
No.
the Virgin Islands?
Was it?
So these are the top five. So we have Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos, Gibraltar, and the British Virgin Islands.
Damn. None of those. None of the above.
None of those?
No. So we'll
Is it
have to
an
keep it a surprise.
okay? Well,
We'll have to
whatever.
keep it a
We'll
surprise.
keep it
What
a
I'll do is
surprise.
I'll post a lot from there. I'll send you some pictures.
We should do that. We should actually have that where you could just like guess where you are, sort of deal.
I'll do story.
Um, and how many tickets? How many seats are on the airplane on this flight? Is it just one seat or is it two seats?
It's one seat.
One seat only? Oh,
One seat
okay.
only. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there going to be one seat on the way back, or is there going to be two seats?
Hey,
Oh my God, are you
no.
going? Are you going to buy a bride? It's a mail order bride thing. You're going to go pick her up.
No,
Yes,
no,
I
no.
I was hoping that you were going to tell me Bruce is coming with you.
No, I have to Brutus has to be he's gonna get babysitter, dog
Oh,
sitter.
the dog sit at the house. Or are you going to board him?
I gotta go back to Montreal.
Oh, you're going to go back to Montreal.
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
go back to Montreal, get a dog sitter, and then take off.
and you're flying out of Montreal or Toronto?
Montreal.
Montreal. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
gotta. So I'm driving back to Montreal on Thursday, and then Friday in the morning take
Okay, I
off.
guess I guess I guess Pat's playing Carmen San Diego on this one. He's not going to tell anyone
I
where
won't
he's
break.
going.
This is like my first vacation in 4 years, man.
Wow.
I haven't taken vacation in 4 years, so this is gonna be nice. Gonna be real nice.
It's gonna be nice. Are you gonna get a tan? Because you're kind of looking like pasty
Yes,
a little
I
bit.
have to.
You
I
got the
I do.
Canadian paste going.
Yeah, it leaves so quickly here, man. Telling you.
Yeah, I'm due. Every time it's sunny, so I'm in Minnesota, and every time it's sunny, it's like I feel like I just want to put my face on the window and to get some vitamin D. It's you get. It was funny. Years in the past, we were talking about that this morning. Every winter I would be like, we got to move. We got to go somewhere else. We got to go here. We got to go there. I was, and it goes back to me not being happy with me again. It's just like,
Right.
if I go somewhere warm, I'll be happy. Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to go somewhere warm for how long are you going to be gone for?
10 days.
Yeah. I would go somewhere for
Yeah,
10 days. That's a
10
long
days.
time. 10 days.
It's a good time, man. Yeah.
God,
You don't
it
have
must be
enough. Say
nice to be
7 days. It's because you
35.
already you have 2 days of traveling, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So you
But
really
you're
only have
35.
5 days. That's
What are you going to do when
37.
you're there? What's the
37,
major
bud.
export of that country you're going to?
I would have to say maybe rum.
Rum. Oh, dude, I said you're going to Bermuda.
No, but it's all rum in the islands. Everybody
I suppose,
specializes
yeah.
in rum. So
Dude, we were in Aruba, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago. And we had to go on a catamaran. We were going to go scuba diving, or no, snorkeling at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was still drunk from the night before, and we get on this catamaran 7 in the morning. The catamaran backs away from the dock, and they're like blenders going in the background. Da, 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 da. The music's playing. I'm like, they're like Buenos dias, blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's 7 in the fucking morning. These people are going to kill me.
Yeah, that's usually what
Um,
happens.
but the amount of drinking you do when you're on vacation like that, mind you, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol. Ready for it?
3 days.
In 2.5 days. But I'm
Okay,
really
there you go.
happy because I was really sick for 2 days. I haven't
Yeah,
touched a drop of alcohol in almost 2 years.
that's amazing, dude.
I
Congratulations.
completely stopped drinking, and I couldn't drink anymore. Wait, we have. Oh, thank you. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Um,
that's dear. Thank you.
I haven't had a drink because what I would do is when I would be in those moments where I was like shitting on myself, I would be able to drink because if you have mental health issues, drinking fixes everything. That's
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's what I
the
thought.
last time I had a drink was the last time I had a drink.
Dude, y- y- la- I couldn't even get a hold of you for 3 days at New Year's because you were like gone
Yeah,
on a
I was gone.
bender.
So I don't know about you, but here in Canada, Nova virus was going wild.
It's
Um,
Noro, Novo. It's
no,
Noro with an R.
it sounds so much better with
No,
Novo.
it doesn't, dum
Yeah, it
dum. It's
does.
novovirus.
I th- Nora,
I mean,
whatever. It sounds
Noro.
Nova sounds
Norovirus
perfect.
is no shit, by the way. Wait,
No,
yeah,
it's
there's a lot
Nora.
of shit. There's a lot of shit involved with
There's a definitely.
norovirus. But
Hey,
norovirus is terrible. Me and my spouse had it a couple years ago,
yeah.
and she was like, "I need to go to the hospital." I'm like, "No, you're fine." And the next morning I got it. I'm like, "Kill me!" It was so bad. It was terrible. It was like 72 hours of hell, is what it did for us.
Hey,
What did it do for you?
speaking about catching flights and not feelings though. Um, I'm gonna be coming down, I guess, in February, right? Because we gotta record all these recordings, all these podcasts in Minnesota,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're gonna be in Minnesota at, sometime in February.
February.
It'd be really cool to do we're gonna do some video work and stuff when you're here too, where we'll show
We
you the
should
town.
probably do the announcement of the giveaway as well for
Oh, that's right,
Valentine's
because
Day
it was
while we're there.
February Valentine's Day. Do you wanna
Hmm.
do a Valentine's Day show?
We should.
Let's do we'll do a Valentine's Day show when you're here. I think
We
we should do a Valentine's Day show live. We could ask our engineers if we can do that, where we can do a live YouTube stream, um, and we can
yeah,
do a live stream at the same time. I think that would be really cool
could check that out.
to get
But
some people.
at the same time, a lot of people are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day, so we're not going to have a lot of people are going to be in the bedroom, not in front of their computers.
You really think so? Our
I
listeners are not in the bedroom, dude. Maybe
oh,
your
dude,
listeners. My
dude,
listeners
come
not in
on.
the bedroom.
But we do. So what are we going to talk about next episode? I definitely want to come back to this whole 7% thing. I think that's something we definitely got to talk about
Yeah,
because
it's important. It's really important. And I think our
yeah,
next so we're gonna have a special guest on our next episode. And then we also during these episodes, every once in a while, we're gonna have Holly O'Hanlon, who is a dear friend of mine, who works with overwhelmed leaders. And she's a life not a, she doesn't call herself a life coach. She hates it when I do that. But I think having a woman's perspective would be really important when we're talking about these things. So Holly will
absolutely.
be a reoccurring guest in our show, but we are going to have some amazing guests. And it's
Hmm.
always going to be based on relationships. We may have friends of ours and we may have some celebrities. We may have some, spokespeople. We're going to have different people on the show to give us perspectives.
Kanye
And
West.
we're going to have fun. We want to have fun with this thing, though. That's my thing. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know, Patrick will always be driving the car and I will be in the passenger seat giving him directions to weird different places that we have to go. And he's gonna be like, dude, we need to stay on track. And I'm gonna be like, no, dude, we need to go here. Um, and that's what I want our show to be because I think my ADHD will give this show a nice little spice, or
Definitely will.
make people shut it off. One of the two. Um,
Definitely will.
but I think the spice, and we want to have some fun with this too. But we want to engage people, and we want people to interact with us just like they interact with you on your lives. If you have something you want to talk about, if you want us to talk about something, let us know. We would love to hear from you because
Yep.
that's why we're here. We're here because you spoke up and you wanted to hear a different side of things. And we are going to be known as the 7% brothers because
Absolutely.
I am a proud, if you've ever seen me on social media, I have full sleeve tattoos. And my next one somewhere is going to be a 7% somewhere. I'm very proud to be a 7%er. And
There you
if you
go.
guys comment enough if you subscribe enough on our YouTube page, I will pay to have 7% tattooed on Pat's face, just
Not
underneath his eye. No,
not gonna
we're not
happen.
doing that.
We're not touching the face, bro. This is the moneymaker.
Oh my God. Did you just say that? Oh my God, you did say that. So that's going to be our time for today. So
I
we're
can't
going
wait
to
to get
wrap
into
this thing
studio
up.
though. Can't wait to
What?
get into studio. I
I
can't
can't
wait to
wait to
get
get
in.
in studio,
Yeah,
dude. Our
it's gonna be
studio
so
is
much
going to be
fun.
so beautiful. So the
Yeah,
studio name is Toravia.
we even
Toravia
got
Studios.
sponsors, right? We already have
Yeah,
sponsors
we
too.
have sponsors already, but we can't talk about them yet. But one
Okay.
sponsor we can talk about right today is an amazing watch company called Clico, and
Yes,
that's your
sir.
watch company, dude.
It is. It is. Yeah.
So after this episode, just listen to the sponsorship piece that I have to put on here every show, because Clico is sponsoring.
We're gonna have
But
a
I
discount
still,
code for you guys though.
what's that?
We're gonna have a discount code for
Yeah, what is
everybody.
the discount code? You already set it up.
I do have it set up.
It's
Give me a
got it.
second. It is got it. It's got it. Got it pod actually.
Got it pod.
Yeah,
So
got
go
it
to
pod gives you
www.clico,
.com.
spell Clico because people are listening.
So it's www.clicot.com.
Did you say
And
triple W?
triple W.
Oh my God.
Is that a Canadian thing? I thought everybody
I don't
said that.
fucking know. Didn't I?
No.
No, people here say www.
Oh, well, here we okay. Well, we say triple W because it's
Triple
so
W.
just triple W. It's so badass, right? Triple
What do you
W,
call the place you park your car when you go to a shopping mall?
a parking lot.
No, that's the outside. If it was like indoors where you go up the ramps.
That would be an indoor parking lot.
Oh my God. You never heard the term parkade before?
Never.
Are you
No,
serious?
I've never
We
heard of
called
that.
them parkades in
No,
Ontario.
it's
Must
just
be a different thing in
it's a
Quebec that they don't
parking lot.
call them. What do you call the red thing you put gas in?
A gas can?
No, dude, you're a Canadian. You should know these things. What is
Don't
another
forget,
term for it?
I'm French Canadian though.
Okay, you never heard cherry can?
Never heard of that.
Okay. Pat's been lying to you guys all this time. He is not from Canada. There's no way
I'm
that
just
Canadians,
French.
dude, it's a cherry can.
Never heard of that.
You never heard of
And
that?
don't Canadians don't hate me for that. I'm French Canadian. Okay, so you got to be careful with these things. I don't know every single term in English. I'm
No.
good in English, but I know every
Well,
single term.
I'm from Ontario originally, and trust me, that's a whole episode on how people mostly from Canada think
There
about
you
people from
go.
Quebec anyway in general. But
But how do you say Clicot? So it's CLICOT. Not a lot of people say Clicot. It's not Clicot. It's Clicot. So
click
it's triple
click
W.
caught.
Yeah.
Click
So
cock.
triple W dot
Triple
Clicot.com. And then you want to use Got It Pod at the checkout. It gives you 25% off the watches.
25%. That's
Yes,
great.
sir. Yeah.
I love my Clico watch, by the way. It's amazing. It looks great on me. I have my model is the round one,
Right.
with the black band,
Right.
and it tells time. So
Absolutely.
it's pretty cool.
That's actually our best seller.
That is the best seller right now.
Yeah.
And my hoodie, my Time Fixes Everything hoodie,
Mm-hmm.
fits me like a glove. It's so soft. It's made out of real llama
Silk.
skin, like the
It's
llama
just
skin. And what Patrick does, he sources the llamas in Canada because he has to be that way, because of import charges. So he sources the llamas, shaves them in front of Brutus in his apartment, and
mm-hmm.
seasons them. What do? You season them, or how do
I
you?
season them. I have to cook it for a little bit. People are not going to
You
know what's true
you
into
cook
me.
the llama?
I
You
cook the
cook the
llama.
fucking llama?
Yeah, it dries up the skin a little bit.
Oh my god! So
Yeah.
maybe that could be an episode we can. Patrick will teach us. But order your Time Fixes Everything
No, by the way,
llama
there's a
hoodie.
bunch of vegans listening to us. We don't harm any animals, okay? People are not going to know what's fake and what's real on here, Mario. You got to be careful, okay?
It's about laughter. It's about communicating, and it's no one harming llamas.
No one is
Where would
hurting
you find a
llamas.
llama? Where do you
Uh,
is there
Literally an hour away from here. There's literally a llama
a
farm.
llama farm?
Yes, sir.
That would be really weird if you went there and asked them
I
for.
kid you not. There's some hotels nearby that you can rent a room, and when you look out your window, there are llamas.
Dude, I don't know where you live.
I
This is
swear to
messed
you.
up.
I swear to you. I'm not joking.
Well, thanks everyone for listening today. And Pat, have a great vacation in
Thank you, man.
Mordor, wherever you're going. Lord of
Gryffindor.
the Rings over
Yeah.
here. Have a great 10-day vacation. And our next episode will be live in studio from Studio 1A. I don't know if it's 1A. We're
There
going
you
to
go. We
call
don't
it
know.
that. Studio 1A. Coming to you live from Studio
Produced by
1A in
produced by
Minneapolis.
Steven, none only than Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be sure to subscribe on YouTube and Spotify if you like the show. If you didn't like the show, leave us a comment. We don't care. You can tell us whatever you want. We can handle it. We're big boys. But remember to be kind and love one another. And Pat, love you. And we'll see you next time, man. And have a great time on your trip.
Thank you, but I can't wait to see you in person, man. I love you, brother.
Love you. See you later.
Ciao.
I love my Clico watch. It works when I'm sleeping and not like an Apple watch where I have to charge it. A Clico watch when you're sleeping. Are they waterproof? Yes, they are. Unbelievably waterproof. Up to 17,000 feet you can dive with your Clico watch without it exploding. Your mind will explode, but your watch will not.